Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today, as usual, with every new meta, we attempt to see if we can acquire the free Time Traveler Masked Hero's Awakened Sword. So if we take a look at this, when equipped by the Masked Hero, the Time Traveler, specifically this Masked Hero, not the light one, increases attack by 10%. It's a typical piece of gear. It gives no additional stats versus like a book or something else that's a, dedicated equipment. However, you cannot acquire this by any other means than by clearing a specific stage in Story Quest. And that's going to be Chapter 8, I believe. The Beauty Makes Her Move. Chapter 13, never mind. Stage 8. There we go. I had it flipped around. Chapter 13, Stage 8, titled Unlock on Expert Difficulty with the question mark EP requirements. This is going to be a two-part fight. First, you're going to fight this light Hinata, who honestly is not that difficult, especially considering that Ainz and Rimuru get that extra damage buff against light characters, so she will die very quickly. But what she does at the start of the battle is she nerfs your entire 3 units on the front line by a lot. And when you kill her, which will not take very long, you will then fight the Masked Hero, who has quite a bit more HP and quite a bit more stats. But she is still light. You cannot stun, you cannot poison. But she also gives herself a butt ton of stats. And she will AoE nuke on her turn, and she will completely wipe your entire front line. Unless you're literally invincible from the idols. That's the only way you can survive that. So, but if you manage to kill the Masked Hero, then a secret cutscene will play, and then, after that is over, a new Awakened Hero Sword will magically appear in your gift box that you can, put on the hero, or you can just put it on anyone and have a free piece of Awakened gear, and that will probably definitely help new players out who are able to complete this. But there are certain ways to go about this, because as we saw, this Hinata, 67,000 HP, not very tanky. And if you take Rimuru and Ainz and Nabe in here, you're going to eliminate her in like 4 hits or something. So you have to play around. So what I've done is I have built this team right here. So we've got Rimuru, we've got free-to-play Trya, Isis, Sufia, Ainz, and then Milim is here, but don't pretend she's not here. She's not actually doing anything. The supports don't have any attack gear on. The main units don't have any attack gear on. Like, actually, it's better if your Milim, Gazel, and all these units are lower level because they will do less damage overall. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to like wait out the fight as long as possible to get as many stacks of Rimuru on Ainz and get at least his ult, EX ult preferably. And since we're bringing Isis, we can get that 50% green orb buff, and we have Orb Changer, Orb Changer, Orb Changer. So we're trying to get full hands of greens, a lot of stacks of Rimuru, a lot being like 2 or 3 before you end up killing Hinata, and then you just stack on Ainz and then get his ult somehow, bringing him in on like the kill turn, and then you're just going to try and nuke the hero down, which is going to be a lot easier because, again, Rimuru is giving Ainz extra damage versus light, so that's like 60% buff right there that you don't even have to worry about. So we're going to use this team. We're going to go in really fast. And again, like, your Ainz doesn't have to be 108, he can be 104 because of, the free dupe. Your support doesn't have to be a 120 Lumi. You just have to be able to kill the hero. So, first turn, we left our supports up front, our Orb Changers, because they immediately get nerfed. Boom, right there. And they don't do very much damage. Like, we'll take a look at this, and 1, 2, and 3. 1,200 damage. Okay. Greens are nerfed for the first, 2 turns or something, so not really much to worry about here. But, what we can do is we could attempt to get a few little extra bits of ult gauge in here with Ainz, but you see, we're doing a butt ton of damage here. And this is not difficult to do. But now, we have a stack of Rimuru, and that's the important part. So let's go ahead and put that stack on Ainz. He's halfway to an ult, which is good. Now, the thing about this is normally, using stacking teams in this scenario, the buffer wouldn't give anything to the Orb Changers. But Rimuru does, because he's giving the all-element buff, which means that these units, even though they've been nerfed a lot and they have no attack gear, they will eventually hit harder and harder, so it is something you have to manage, right? So let's get Ainz out now, and now we're going to play, and we're just going to try and get a full hand of somebody here with greens, so we could then use the Isis buff and then try and get like a full 6 send of Ainz or something and try and get his ult going into the kill turn. So I'm going to make a cut and try this out a few times and see if we can get the run, and then I'll bring you back. But ideally, like, you want to be sending full hands of greens here to get maximum gauge. Okay, we're back on turn 5, and as you can see, we're pretty well set up. We've got 4 Ainz orbs with another one coming. We have a stack of Rimuru. We can take Sufia out, and that'll pull another Ainz. So that'll be 5 green Ainz orbs that are now going to be fully buffed by Isis. And we're going to use his protection gauge buff as well to give us, you know, a hope was close to, you know, as many stacks of Rimuru as we possibly can. So here, we're on turn 5. It took like 2 runs or something to get this set up. But this will get his EX ult because we're already starting with, you know, 3/4 of an ult gauge. So, it is buffed by 50% from Isis, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's get the extra protection gauge from here. And then the Despair doesn't matter because it's not going to transfer over to the hero. But this does get us max points, another Rimuru gauge, and the EX ult. Now, I brought Milim. We're going to see if we can actually one-shot with Ainz first, with just his buffs alone. His guaranteed crits, his magic buff, and then the 1 stack of Despair that we can put on the hero. And then if we can't, then, you know, maybe you bring another support unit, a little bit of a buffer. It doesn't have to be Windmill, it could be pretty much anybody that can give any kind of support buff to Ainz that he's not already giving to himself. And then we can probably do it. But I have a feeling that we're going to be strong enough. The hero has like 200,000 HP, somewhere around there, very close. So we're going to just full change into greens here. The hero does have Super Guard, so any normal orbs won't really do that much damage. But we can chip away at it. If we get very, very close with the ult, we can chip away. We have 3 ults here. We'll use the crit and the magic, and then we'll do the 1 stack of Despair. We'll do the 1 more stack of Rimuru. And that'll put us at, I believe, like 3 stacks total or something on Ainz. So it's not very much. We're only on turn 6. But then the Ainz EX ult does 300,000 by himself. So it's like, even if your support units aren't as good, even if your gear isn't, you know, as good as mine, you can definitely do this. It may take a little bit more tries, but you can get away with it. But now, after you hit OK, hidden episode number 5, I'm going to skip it so I don't spoil anything for you. But then after this plays, and you go back to, you know, your main screen, you're going to have the hero sword in your box, and you can use it as you will. So there we go. It's very simple. Just bring a bunch of green orb changers. Isis is a very good pickup. All 3 of those units were free up front, so it's not like I'm using whaled units or something. We didn't even use Milim, right? So all we had really is a bunch of orb changers, Ainz, and Protector Rimuru. So, and you can get away with having lower tier units in your support slots there by all means. We did a lot of damage right there just with Ainz. So that's how you can get the free hero sword. You know, substitutions, like who is going to substitute here? Other orb changers, like what, free to play Aaron can replace Sufia. I mean, if you want to try and bring Dark Milim, you can. Let me cut back over here, so let's do that. You can bring, so like, Wind Milim didn't do anything. You could very easily bring like Dark Shinsha. You could bring the Dark Anniversary Milim for the ult buff, and if she's skill fused, you got the attack buff. You could do that. Isis is pretty necessary for the green buff, but if you play around, you could bring Nabe, right? She's been given away for free right now, so you could do that instead. Trya, you can use Wind Lumi for the special convert, and then yeah, like you could use Water Soe if you wanted to. You literally just need green orb changers. You just need to get a few stacks of Rimuru to buff Ainz up to get his ult, and then you just nuke away. Like there's not much to it. But let me know if this helped you out, guys. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.